Hello, how are you doing? I hope you're having an amazing day and welcome back to the channel where it seems that every month I'm talking about the new smartphone gimbal. And it's not a secret that the one that I've been using the most is the DJI OM6, but Insta360 has released the new Flow 2 Pro, and this time they redesigned the previous version and now it has a lot of interesting improvements on the gimbal itself and also inside the Insta360 app. But is this enough to beat the one from DJI? Well, that's what I want to talk about in this video. These two gimbals have a compact design. You can fold them down very quickly and they are easy to carry around. When it's time to set them up to start using them, it can be done very quickly, but this seems to be a bit faster on the Flow 2 Pro. This gimbal also has a built-in tripod which feels stronger than what we had in the past. I really never liked the plastic legs on this version, but the new ones are very solid and will stop the gimbal from moving around. And having this is more convenient because you don't have to carry a tripod around as you do with the OM6. The maximum payload that they can support is about 300 grams, and I really like that they have a magnetic clip to mount your smartphone instead of having a regular clamp that you normally get with other gimbals. But lately, I've been using this magnetic mount that comes on the creator combo of the Flow 2 Pro. It has a very slim profile, it's lightweight, and most of the time it stays on my phone. And it has this ring that you can pull out to use as a stand. The price difference for this combo is just about $30. Great value if you take into account that it also comes with this fill light that can be plugged on this USB-C port on the gimbal. Very clean design, it can be used facing forward or backward in any orientation that you need, and it is bright enough when you need some extra light. That same USB-C port can also be used as a power bank to charge your smartphone even if the gimbal is off. And the good thing is that the Flow 2 Pro has plenty of battery life and it will last for 10 hours. The battery on the OM6 will last for 6.5 hours and it doesn't have a USB-C port to charge your smartphone. Not a deal breaker, but I have to carry these two items when I'm out all day. There is a built-in extension rod on these two gimbals that can be extended to around 20 centimeters or 8 inches, which is always good to have for vlogging videos, group shots, or when you want to show more background when you frame yourself for a picture or a video. But using this extension, the Flow 2 Pro now has a very unique feature that lets you have a bigger range of movement for the tilt. Every compact gimbal like the OM6 have a limited range of motion, so the new free tilt mode will let you make crane shots in a much easier way. And not only that, but the Flow 2 Pro also has infinite 360 panning rotation, where the DJI OM6 is limited to 180 degrees. The tracking on the OM6 has been improved in the last months, and I feel that this is one of the most reliable ones in the market. It has very smooth movements and it will keep tracking your subject even if it turns the back or face around. But the drawback is that the tracking only works when you use the DJI Mimo app and there are not a lot of options that you can use. On the Flow 2 Pro, you can pair your smartphone directly with the gimbal in a few seconds without having to open the Insta360 app. Once you do that, you can use the tracking with almost any app. For example, the native camera app or those that you can use for live streaming or video calls as well. So this is a great feature where you can select the video app that you want, but the downside is that this relies on something called Apple Dock Kit, and this only works on iPhones and not on Android devices. But before you click away, I do have good news. The tracking can be used inside the app by iPhones and Androids with the advantage that now it's even better than before, with some features that feel amazing, and you have to understand that this comes from a person who tries to avoid using the app. I'm actually beginning to wonder if I like the gimbal or the app more. Anyway, there is a new multi-person tracking. Instead of having only one person in the middle of the frame, selecting multiple people will make the composition more balanced by placing everyone in the center of the frame. It is very useful when we try to capture bigger groups. There's always going to be a main subject, which is the person inside the green box. The other ones will have a white one around them. And if this person moves away from the frame, the app will keep following the main subject. But at any point in time, the one or the ones that left the frame can come back and the app will recognize them and will keep tracking them again. And if you want to change the main subject, It can be done at any time by just tapping a different person on the screen. On the left side of the screen, you now have 3 new options. Tracking Plus, which seems to enable the tracking to be more aggressive and faster, which can be useful for fast-moving videos or subjects. Insta360 actually recommends that this has to be used on a tripod. Reposition will let you track a subject using a different framing by selecting a different composition using one of the 9 points on the screen to track someone. This way, you're not limited to have the subject in the center of the frame all the time. Auto zoom tracking will automatically zoom in or out on a subject that is far away from the gimbal to keep the same perspective that you set in the beginning. It supports up to 15x zoom, and this is useful for those of you who've asked me which one is the best gimbal to track my son when he's playing football. Well, now you have an answer. But this works best if your phone has a telephoto lens. Otherwise, it's going to use digital zooming, which has a lower image quality. And of course, having 360 degrees infinite rotation means that the tracking can keep going without limitations. So in terms of tracking, the OM6 and the Flow 2 Pro can do a great job. It seems that they can recognize the subject, so the chance to confuse it with someone else is very low. But in terms of tracking features, the Flow 2 Pro seems to have the upper hand, and if you have one of the latest iPhones, you can record using Dolby Vision and Apple ProRes. This is something that you can't do on the OM6. Controlling these two gimbals remotely can be done using an Apple Watch, but not everyone has one. So Insta360 came up with something unique. You can use another smartphone to control the one that's on the gimbal. You get a live view, a joystick, some basic controls, and you can use it to start tracking. This works with iPhones and Android devices, so no limitations here. And I love that the phone doesn't even need to have the Insta360 app, but both smartphones need to have an internet connection to work. Everything seems to work really fast. The live view has a very slight delay, but nothing that I would consider as a deal breaker. And of course, we're not always making videos with someone to have that extra phone. When it comes to the stabilization, it's really hard to tell a difference between these two gimbals. In most situations, they are going to perform very well, you're going to get smooth movements, they will keep the horizon straight, and your videos should be really stable when you're walking or if you're running. The OM6 and the Flow 2 Pro have a wheel that can be used to zoom in or out, or you can activate manual focus, which can be used inside the app. All the buttons feel good on these two gimbals, but I like the layout, the small screen, and the joystick more on the OM6. The screen is very basic, but I can see an icon of the mode that I'm using and the battery level as well. The Flow 2 Pro has a very good looking design, but these two buttons are not quite visible. The one at the bottom is the one that you need to use to change the gimbal modes, and when you do so, there is a big light indicator for each mode, and this is great. But how do you know which one are you using? You have to look at these super tiny letters. I really felt like I was going blind. It's mind-blowing, but besides that small detail, I have to admit that I like the new design, but I feel more impressed by all the new features that we're now getting. I was not a big fan of the Insta360 Flow or the Flow Pro for multiple reasons, and they were hard to recommend over the DJI OM6, which I still think that it is a great device. But the Flow 2 Pro, even though it's not perfect, it's a smartphone gimbal that I can recommend for content creators and for those of you who would like to make better videos for yourself or your loved ones, where my only complaint so far is the lack of visible icons on the control panel. And then the tilt mode is a good idea. I'm not complaining, but changing from this to the normal mode takes a few steps that will take some extra time, and when you want to put it down, the tripod will not be enough to make it stand straight. But how about if you tell me what you think about the new features? What do you like the most or don't like? The links to these gimbals are going to be down below, and if you use them, it will support the channel. Don't forget to give this video a like. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Bye.